All right, well, welcome back. We are here. Spring practice begins tomorrow. Really excited, about all aspects of what's gone through this semester. Finished up our winter program. You'll hear this week. Now we transition into spring ball. Excited about what I've seen, and for the number of returning players that we have coming back. Adding the 23 newcomers. Here this January. I mean, it's the largest number that I've ever been around. Of newcomers. Joining in the off-season program. I believe it's the largest number of anybody in the country. That many newcomers that began at the semester, and so we're excited about the way that they've been able to integrate into the program. Really like the development and the growth that I've seen from our players that are returning. Because even with that, this was for over 40 guys in our program. This was their first off-season. And to be able to go through our tour duty workouts, being able to start introducing in our meetings, a lot of things schematically that we're looking to do, and then just seeing the overall growth. We're bigger, we're stronger, we're faster. Our guys, the confidence level of what we're asking them to do is definitely shown up. We've challenged them. This has been a grueling off-season program. We're challenging all aspects of what they do on the field, off the field, in the classroom. Trying to push ourselves to being our best. And I think when we spoke back in January, February, the word that I'm looking for is consistency. And I think our guys, through our time together, having to go through the challenges, I do believe that they understand what it is to work. And we push them at a high level. The investment, physically and mentally, the work that it takes, and that they put in on a day in and day out basis. I mean, they feel and understand that expectation. I also believe they've learned how to respond. You look at the examples that we've had over the last few years. We went through it. And they've had to overcome in some very challenging situations, but the response and the identity that they've shown is something that I'm proud of, but also something that we've got to continue to do as we're moving forward. And now it's time to become consistent, and to eliminate so much of the up and downs that we've seen, and that that consistency has to show up on the practice field, has to show up in the weight room, has to show up in the classroom. With the things that we're doing, socially, and continuing to grow as a program, that's going to be key to our success, and to have what essentially is going to be 90 to 95% of our team that's going to suit up. You'll hear this fall. Here in January, I mean, that's exciting, because you see those relationships, you see the a better understanding of what that expectation is for all those newcomers, and just the way that the guys have approached off season up until this point. Now tomorrow morning we get a chance to go out and you start putting it into action. And tomorrow will be our first practice. It'll be a helmet practice. There will be our coaches. We did our walkthrough this morning, and because we have some new guys in different roles, and making sure that from the athletic trainers to the video to equipment managers, that everybody's on the same page, because we need to have that consistency as a staff as well, and to be able to have the continuity within the program, and to have the same language, and this those expectations. It really does help our guys in their growth and in their process. And with all those things being said, we're still a young team. We only have 8 seniors that are on our football team, going into this fall. I mean, that's exciting, because yes, we have production. We've added, I think, to the level of competition that we're going to see at each position. But we still have a great amount of youth that has such a great future in front of them. And so we're pushing hard, and we're excited about the competition that's ahead, and the opportunity that's in front of us here in spring ball. Am I going to be calling on questions? Because I will.
All right, go Ira.
Ira.
Thanks. You said that this is going to be the most competitive spring since you've been here. Is that just because of the added depth and the talent level across the board, or is that just because these guys are ready for that?
I mean, I think it's a combination of both. You have returning production, guys that have played a lot of football. guys that have developed. I mean, that we've got a lot of guys on our team that were thrown into the fire to say, probably, a little earlier in their career than maybe some of them were truly prepared for. And, as they've built in their confidence through some of the good and bad experiences, that growth, I mean, we're seeing major strides that have taken place. But the production was there, and now you add more competition from newcomers that have joined the program, from transfers that have come in that have also had production in other places. I mean, that competition is going to be fierce at all positions, and it's something that that I'm excited about, because when you get 23 new faces, guys that we went out and we recruited and evaluated, and making sure that we're bringing the right fit to Florida State, and then to have the last 8 weeks, in those 8-week period of time, I am absolutely excited about the additions, and we've hit on a lot of them, and just absolute certainty of who they are as the young men, who they are as the athletes. Now tomorrow it's about the development of the football players and merging it all together for the most important thing, and that's putting together this team. And we've got some great individuals, and it's just part of that process of growing together and building that continuity and that consistency that is necessary for us to move forward.
Our next will be Chris Neal, front row.
How much does the shared numbers of the roster in the spring benefit you guys in the sense of having a more competitive, high-octane practice for all 15 practices?
No, I think it's definitely a great dynamic for us. I mean, one of the things that I've had to kind of adjust what the past schedules and past things that I've done, because just never had the access to this many players, and you're going to see more 1s, 2s, and 3s that are rolling through the course of a practice, rather than maybe just focusing on a first group, because we've got guys that will have started many games that might be rolling with the 2s and potentially even with the 3s at some point throughout this spring ball. But it's about the opportunity to showcase the development, and and just like I told the team yesterday as we finished our last tour of duty workout, where you were last year, that's where you were. And it is a new day, a new age, a new opportunity for everybody, and that's what I care about. As we go into it, we're trying to find the highest, best number of guys that can help impact us to win football games at a consistent basis, and that's whatever that number is going to be on each side of the ball. It's in the hands of the young men that we have playing for us, and so to see that competition, to see that growth, we've got to provide them that opportunity here this spring. And this, there's going to be some times, and I'm sure there's going to be some things tomorrow that are going to probably look pretty ugly with so many newcomers going through their first practice, but it's still that repetition and that experience is huge for their development. So we're really going to help force that throughout how we practice.
Next will be Kurt on the front row to your right.
Talking to Coach Storms the other day, he talked about how sure there were 40 or so people who that was the first tour of duty, but that leaves 60 plus who have been through it before. How much do you think did that show up throughout tour of duty, and how much of a head start does that give you going into spring?
No, I think it benefits us in all areas, and as we've gone through this recruiting process, and like I tell our team, the guys that are here today, they're all guys that we've said yes to, and they've said yes to being here. Whether it was recruits that we went out and were able to bring to Florida State, or past players that have been through change, that have been through that transition, they said yes because they've met the standard of how we're trying to operate, and they're continuing to grow and develop in that standard, and we've said yes. And so as we're all here together, now you see coaches coaching, or you see players coaching players, and kind of bringing them along. And we saw that it was really evident in the recruiting process, because at the end of the day, we're trying to find the biggest, fastest, strongest, best fit for Florida State in everybody that we bring here. But that fit matters. And our players, they did a remarkable job throughout the recruiting process in helping paint the picture of the expectation. You come here, you're going to work. You're going to be challenged. You're going to be pushed to be the best version of you on a daily basis. And when you have, talented young men that want to be a part of that experience, when they get here, it's not as big of a shock to them. And so you've seen our returning players really help push that standard and help encourage, because going through it, it's tough. and you see that. You see that belief in helping to teach and preach what you can do, rather than the things that sometimes your mind lets you think you can't. And so I really have enjoyed seeing our players and just that those returning guys take the newcomers under their wing.
Next will be Gene Williams.
Coach, added quite a lot of support personnel in the offseason. I guess, first of all, what does that mean to you? The administration gave you the resources to be able to do that. And what will that bring to you? What will that allow you to do functionally for the program that maybe you couldn't do before without having those people?
The added personnel is something I'm absolutely grateful to the administration and the commitment to what we're doing, and it's a necessity too. College football. It's changed, and there's when you look at roster management, you look at roster development. Some of the changes that have gone through with the NCAA, making sure that you have the resources and support to help provide these young men and provide our staff with what's needed in going out there and whether it's player acquisitions of whether it's the high school level or the college college transfer level, making sure we get the evaluation part of it, the experience, the on-campus opportunities when kids are getting here. It's all important, and I'm excited about the people we've been able to bring in. I think that making sure that the alignment is critical to me, and as you add personnel, still making sure that everybody's on the same page and we're all pushing in the same direction. The communication, and you see guys, the leadership roles that we've been able to bring in. Derek Ray's done a remarkable job, here as he's transitioned in as our general manager and personnel, but part of his job is making sure that each one of those departments are all aligned, and we're efficient in how we operate, we're efficient in what we do, and helping provide for the coaches, provide for the staffs, all the different departments when young men get on campus, that we're getting things done to the level and the expectation of how we need to operate. So it's been great. Really excited about the personnel that we've added.
Next will be Matt Rochelle, midway back on your right.
Mike, third spring that you're going into, do you guys feel like you've turned the corner a little bit when it comes to your roster with some of the guys you've been able to bring in?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about what I've seen. Like I mentioned earlier, just the additions of some of the newcomers. We've added great length, size, explosiveness in our movements, and and finding guys that they're embracing the challenges that they know are ahead. And winning in college football, it will always be hard. And being able to come and to add to the consistency of the work that's necessary, but then continuing to elevate the talent, the ability, and you're adding those like-minded individuals that are willing to work together through those challenges. That's what I enjoy, and we definitely are starting to look the part. And there were some positions that last year we were just playing with youth or some inexperience, or just guys that were really kind of being forced into a couple different challenging situations, and now you see that their growth through that, and the opportunity to grow as within our roster in general has been really good. So I'm excited about what I see. Definitely think we're getting close.
All right, we'll go a little bit farther to the right to Matt Baker.
Hey, Mike. I want to ask about the receiving core. Obviously, you brought in a lot of transfers to that position. What did you want to bring to the program with those guys, and what are your kind of expectations for what you want to see this spring?
You think when you bring in four guys at that position, there's a versatility among all of them, whether it's their size, their speed, positions, some of the things that impact in special teams. We had an opportunity really to make a choice as a program. We had some really good younger receivers last year that were playing a lot of plays, and they're going to continue to grow and develop. So we wanted to have a mix of experience, but also just that playmaking ability. And I think we were able to achieve that. I've enjoyed watching all of the four newcomers at receiver. What they do. What they do in the workouts. Their athleticism, their speed. The mindset of what they bring, and tomorrow we're going to get to see it on display. Out there with the football, and I feel very confident in what that's going to add to our receiving core, and also help some of the returners continue to elevate their game with that added competition.
Next week, Brennan Sonnone, front front row to your left.
Two other positions that you added via the transfer portal, Caden Lyles, Bless Harris, the offensive line, how they fit in so far, and what have you seen from the returners as well?
Yeah, I mean that's a position I'm really excited about. You know, anytime you sign 6 offensive linemen, I mean there's going to be that competition. Having some of those guys that have come in early, specifically Caden and Bless. I mean, you see their experience, you see their size. That's one of the things that jumps off. When you walk in the door. I mean, they're grown men, and they've both had experience at different places. But now it's just the transition and developing that comfort in what we're asking them to do. But very intelligent young men. Their skill set of how they move, the size, the versatility, I think is going to be something that's key. And you also couple that with the guys that we have returning, and we played a lot of young offensive linemen, and the growth of them physically. Rob Scott really had a great offseason. Excited what I've seen from him. You see Darius Washington. We're going to really work with his versatility. He's played tackle. He's played just about every position on the offensive line, but really going to look at all the different combinations to be able to find our best 5 from now until leading up to fall camp. But I mean, this spring's going to be big. Got returning experience with Maurice. Dylan Gibbons. Was last year when he came in, he provided a little bit of that experience and the physicality of what we needed. And now to see him continue to grow, and it's I'm excited about our guys up front, and even seeing some of those younger guys, like a guy like Lloyd Willis is gonna this is a huge spring for him. Rod Orr, those guys, it's gonna be exciting to see. And even some of those guys on the interior, Thomas Schrader, who missed all of last year, getting him back out and moving. Excited about that. Zane Herring, I'm sure we're gonna leave some guys out just to mention not all of them, but I mean it's definitely not say more talented, but we've got some great experience and some newcomers I think absolutely can play.
We'll go back row left, Michael Langston.
Yeah. Coach, you talked a lot about the transfers already, but two that kind of intrigue me the most is the lineman position with Tatum, and then also Trey Benson, running back. Talk about just how they've done as far as in the tour duty, and just what you've seen from them, and then just your overall impressions of the transfers so far and buying into what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean it's been great, and those 2 guys specifically have done a remarkable job since they've been here. Tatum, his experience, the mindset, toughness, how he's transitioning. I think he's going to really help elevate our linebacker position. I really like the guys that we have. I mean, we got a lot of returning experience. With Kalen, with Amari, with DJ. Some of those guys that are also in that room. But then you add him. I think that's going to really start moving to a strength of our defense, and you saw that towards the back half of the year. Those guys playing with more confidence, but now as they've grown up and continue to develop, and then the addition of him, and Omar Graham, a freshman that I've been impressed with actually at linebacker. I'm excited to see how those guys all gel together. But and then Trey Benson has been really good. I mean, it's coming off some. You talk about challenges and adversity. Of Trey, I've known since he was in high school. He's a big back, 6 foot plus. I mean, probably 215 pounds, and might be one of the fastest individuals that we have on this team. And he's already hit those top times and top speeds. You're here in a very short period of time. He's cleared to go and in all aspects. We knew that bringing when we brought him in, but even just seeing some of the things in his agility, movements. I mean, I'm excited to watch him build in his confidence. Probably gonna be a very similar approach to when Jay Sean came here his first semester coming off of a injury at his last place, and kind of how we brought him along. Probably a very similar approach with Trey, but there's no doubt that from the size, athleticism, speed. I mean, we got one coming, so excited about him.
Come back to Chris on the front row. To your left.
What do you want to see from Jordan Travis in the spring and just going into this year, and what has he maybe shown in these last 8-12 weeks?
I mean, Jordan is just that continued growth and consistency. All the things I talked big picture about the program. I mean, that's what we want to see with him, because you've seen the improvement, you've seen the growth and confidence in what he's being asked to do. With him in meetings and his overall understanding and leadership. that is all grown, and he's got a lot of confidence. As we're going into spring practice, the physical development, you see, that growth that he's had, is something I'm excited about, and it's time to take that next step. And Jordan, when you go back and you watch over these last couple of years, I mean, he's a young man that he's going to put you in a position to achieve success, and that's shown up in every game that he's started and played. I mean, he whether we've been down and had to respond, I mean, he's got that knack to him, and the development as a passer, the development just as a quarterback in general, I mean, we're excited about, but it's the next steps are there and available for him, and he's going to seize each one of those 15 practices, because we need him to continue to do that, because I do think he has a really special future in front of him.
Next will be Allison, all the way in the back on the
Hey,
left.
Coach. Speaking of our local guys, Joshua Farmer's gotten a lot bigger. Just what are you expecting from him this spring and this year?
He's probably one of the guys in this off season that's really stood out to me, is just taking great strides. I mean, he's pushing 300 pounds, and when you watch him move, I mean, he's a force. You look at that defensive tackle position. That has to be one of the strengths of our team, and really development of guys like Josh, like Malcolm Ray, Jarrett Jackson. That's allowed us to be able to take Dennis Briggs and move him out to the Fox position, very similar to what Kier did last year, and he looks remarkable. I mean, just that defensive front has to continue to grow. They've got to continue to push, but a guy like Josh, I'm so excited about what his future is going to be, and just the investment he's making, physically, and just building his confidence of what to do in that consistency fundamentally.
All right, come back up to Kurt on the front row.
When we talked to Jared, he talked about talking to Jermaine and Kier while visiting, and their role in kind of helping him eventually decide to land here. Obviously, those are tough guys to compare him to with what they came in and did last year, but how have you seen him kind of hit the ground running with that role that you're going to need from him?
Oh, I mean, really good. And, there's a little bit of a difference is just the amount of experience that, when you look at both those guys, both those were fifth-year seniors that were coming in. So they've been through a lot. Jared is still, relatively young. I mean, he's played, he played basically a half season with COVID, and then, this last year. And, I'm really excited about, all the things, physically. I mean, he's special. I mean, he's for size, speed, combination, the maturity level that he brings. Now it's going to be the transition of learning the details, the fundamentals, continuing to grow in that. But, we definitely think we got a special player and a special young man that's coming into a room that had young talent, and, being able to take Dennis and move him out with that experience and growth, getting Leonard Warner. I mean, I'm getting him back. I mean, I'm excited about, like I said, just that whole group and the competition that we'll see there.
All right, we'll go back a row to Jerry.
Hey, Coach. With Jordan Travis, you answered a question then about Jordan coming in. This spring, do you modify your offense a little bit to take advantage of his strengths? You build it towards him, or are you asking him to,
Yeah, we'll always modify the offense year in and year out to the strengths of the personnel that we have, and I think we did that. I think we've done that in this past year with him, and some of the things that we've asked him to do, and we definitely have a much better sense of who he is as a quarterback, of the things that the areas that he's grown and developed, and so I think it's going to be a real open slate to the things that we can ask him to do. And then, we got a couple young quarterbacks that are very talented that I really like in what they've done and how they're continuing to grow. And this is going to be a big spring for all of them. And so, but we're always going to be able to have the versatility within the offense to the guy that's playing quarterback and what we need to be able to ask him to do. And I think we surrounded him with some really talented guys there, both on the perimeter, in the backfield, continued development up front to allow him to showcase, all that he can do in those other quarterbacks.
All right, we'll go to the left to Gene Williams.
Coach, with Tony now coaching quarterbacks, Alex as the coordinator, what will you guys do this spring? Because obviously you haven't had that dynamic before. What do the coaches do to try to get on the same page? And And then how do you see that ultimately working as you guys go into the fall?
I mean, it's, there really won't be, Alex is making sure that, the day-to-day operations of coordinating the offense, he's done a great job throughout the course of the spring in our preparation for practice. My involvement offensively is going to be what it is. And, it's something that, I'm excited about, what Tony brings to coaching the quarterback position, his helping those guys continue to grow and develop. The great thing is that continuity within what we're doing offensively, and with the confidence within the players of who they have leading them, and then also the talents that they bring to continue for us to grow as on that side of the ball is something I'm excited about. We've talked, and we have a great plan of what that's going to look like, here throughout the course of the spring. But also, we've got a lot of confidence in what that's going to continue to grow to be as we get into fall and fall practice, and then as the season hits.
We'll go across to Matt Marshall.
Mike, we talked about the quarterbacks, but what do you want to see from the guys behind Jordan? Tate and AJ and Gene. What do you want to see from those guys this spring, especially?
No, just growth, control, command of the offense. Really helping showcase where they are. I've been really pleased with Tate. He's been that's a prime example. So it's probably been thrown into some situations early in his career that you wouldn't ideally want a quarterback to have to go into. But as he's grown, as he his confidence is, it's night and day to where it was, and just understanding of what to do, where to go. The things that we'll ask him to do. Now he's got to go, execute it, and to show that consistency. AJ, I've been extremely pleased with. I had big expectations for him. I've known AJ for a long time, and as you see him. What he brings to this football team, with his, he's got great size. He's close to 230 pounds. He's probably, he's posted some of the fastest numbers of anybody in our big skill positions. He can absolutely run. He's got a great arm talent, and just as he's come in and the way that he processes information, I think it's going to put him on an accelerated path. But now you got to go get the on-field repetition, and that's one of the things that. He's going to have some growing pains, and we know that. But to be able to do that in the spring, we'll get a much better sense of where he is as we're heading into the fall with all those young quarterbacks. And Gino's a guy that we don't talk a whole lot about, but he's been here throughout this whole process. And Gino is he's a talented young quarterback as well. And I'm excited about what he's going to be able to do and some of the reps that he'll get, and just to see where that goes for us in the program here moving forward.
I'll stay on that side. Go one row back to Carter.
You talked a little bit about the quarterbacks, but what will having kind of that cemented starter do for you guys as a team, as opposed to kind of having that quarterback battle you guys have?
Well, we've seen that even throughout the course of the spring, and Jordan having an opportunity to emerge as that leader. The work that he puts in, the confidence that he carries himself within the offense, and really just overall as a football team. I think that helps everyone, and it's just one of those things that he knows he still has to compete day in and day out, and we're looking for that standard to be hit, being his best, and he's embraced that. He's had to overcome a lot throughout his collegiate career, and he's put himself in this position at this moment, and excited about what he's going to do for this team.
All right, we got two more. We're going to go to Aslan in the back, and then over to Ira to end it.
Coach, do you feel the program is in so much of a better kind of state that you feel comfortable going back into the offense and calling plays, or was that always kind of part of your plan to eventually at some point resume play calling?
Oh, it's something that I enjoy to be able to do. I think that for us, coming in, it was important that it was an all-inclusive program approach of what we were doing and establishing the consistency. I've never, and I will not be the offensive coordinator here. That's Alex Atkins has that job, he has that responsibility, and that's something that he's going to have to do, and we are going to work in a coordinated approach. But just like Alex has his responsibility on the offensive side, Adam has the responsibility, JP. But we're all going to work in unison in what we're trying to accomplish. And so coming in, that was important. It was important to me to make sure that it's not a just side of ball, because every one of these players, they've got to hit that standard in how we operate, what we do, being able to build those relationships. And I'm excited about where we are. Like I said earlier, I think we're getting really close, and we need to take a jump. We need to go through this spring and see those steps taken. Just in the level of consistency of what we're doing. Regardless of what a coach's position or title, or it's this is it's exciting. It's an exciting time around the program, and I'm definitely looking forward to this spring and the direction that we're headed.
All right, Ira in the back left.
You also evaluate your coaches. What's it been like these last couple of months, seeing Coach Shannon being able to interact hands-on with players, and what's been your evaluation?
No, I think Coach Shannon brings just such a great dynamic to our staff. And last year, being in an off-the-field role, I thought he did an extraordinary job in what he was asked to do. And now it goes to a day in and day out approach, with those players. And you see their excitement when it comes to who they have leading them, but also what they're being asked to do and how they're being asked to do it, and just the response. You could talk about the on the field in the workouts, but really, it's also the off the field, the relationship that's been built, and that's where you talk. We were fortunate in being able to have that continuity of staying, having somebody that was on staff that players were accustomed to seeing, and even building relationships just in who they were as young men. But now to have that in a day-to-day action, as somebody that's leading them as a coach, it's definitely been really good. Randy and Adam, they work remarkably together, and that was something that showed up last year, and just that I was able to see. And so it was a no-brainer. We had the opportunity to get Coach Shannon on the field, coaching our linebackers and co-DC. I'm excited about that dynamic and how that's being implemented, even on a day-to-day basis here in the off season.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys. Enjoy.